Now we're going to see how to invoke custom conversion at Mapstruct. What I mean to say is, let's take an example of car object as a driver object, and the driver object conversion into our DDO will be used by custom method where handwritten code will be there to convert the data or to provide the mapping instead of Mapstruct annotation. Let's create a car class, string model number, string company, and let us let's create another class called driver where driver would be there. So let's create driver object, create a class, we'll fill the driver details. Now let's generate the setters and getters for this registration number as well. Registration number. Let's create setter and getters registration number. Let's create a toString method as well. Let's go to the driver object. Sense number, name, let's say date, license expiration, and let's create setters and getters for this toString method. Reformat it. Let's create car DTO. So car DTO. In the car, we'll be having the same properties, just like registration number, model number, and company. Driver information, here we will be having driver DTO, which is a driver. Let's create the class for it. Create a class, and this class will be having two. One is name, another one is expires in. Let's create sets and getters and a toString method. Go to the car DTO, do the same thing here. Let's create setters and getters and a toString method. Save all the files. Let's start creating a mapper for it. So let's create an interface. Say car driver mapper and annotate the interface with mapper. Now let's create a method car DTO to car DTO from car. Import all the classes. As a default mapping, the same type and same field names will be considered. So here, the company driver, everything has been created, and the driver to driver DTO, it's been created automatically because it's a nested DTO. It's been created, it has been created. This is one way, but here what has been used, it has been used only the driver name. So the driver has the driver name and driver DTO has name. So those two has been mapped. So let's create a testing class, which is or test or driver test. Let's create a car here. Now we need to create a driver object. The driver, new driver. let's set the expiration. So the expiration will be, so new date of year. Now let's set the car dot set driver, which is the driver. Now let's write the sessions. So let's first of all let's create the RTTO. Now set not TTO. Driver DTO. Driver DTO has expired sin and it is not having any mapping at the driver object. So there won't be any method or any property that can be validated. So in our case, set null, because DTO.get driver or get expired sin would be null in our case. So let's create a mapper here. Our driver mapper. Let's invoke mappers.get mapper of mapper. Let's create a mapper dot to RTT. If you see the implementation has driver. So it created another method called driver to driver DTO object and it converted the driver to driver DTO because the property name is matched. For example, if the property name is not matched, this method would have not created. Let's test it. So instead of the driver, let's say owner. And for now, just recreate them. I'm going to undo the code later. This is just for testing. So if I save it, in the implementation, we didn't see that one because the owner is not mapped to a driver. There is no sum field. So Mpastruct did not create any setter for that one. Let's revert the code for now. Go to the DTO and revert it. So the Mpastruct would be creating a conversion for it. So the driver to driver DTO, or driver to driver DTO, where it will, and we will be overriding this method soon. It worked as expected. See, it got worked very well. Now, let's customize it and compute expires in. Let's go to the mapper. In the mapper, I need to handle myself the driver conversion option. So I would like to take the full control of the conversion. So driver DTO, let's say driver to driver DTO, and here we'll be using driver. Let's say driver, and here return null. And we'll be doing the implementation over here. Let's write it to do implement. Now as it is interface, we cannot create it. Let's convert this one into an abstract class. In the abstract class, we cannot have the methods, public methods. Let's say it is abstract method. Let's import it. Let's import the driver. Interface or abstract class or a class. If the mapper annotation is there, it would be creating IMPL class. So if you see it, set driver, it has called driver to driver. But where is that method? Its method is not there. And it's been used in the car driver mapper. So let's implement this one. What exactly we need to do it here? It's simple. We need to compute driver DTO is equals to driver DTO, DTO dot set name, driver dot get name. But here we need to calculate the expires in. So for now, let's write a to do compute expires in, and for now set expires in 30 days and return the DTO object. Now we need to adjust our test case because here we have written null. To run it, it will fail. Let's test it. Yes, it has been failed at the session because it is not null. So let's write not null, and we hard coded to 30 days for testing purposes. So let's assert equals dto.expires driver writes in should be equals to the new integer of 30. Now let's rerun it. Now it's been success. This is how we are going to do the customization or providing our own implementation for the nested object mappings. Let's say if it's a simple to driver DTO, what would happen? Is the implementation class would able to use this one? Let's check. If I go here, it's been using it. How it identifies it? It identifies depending on the type what we passed in. Let's go to the mapper, the type that we have passed in, and what is output. So no need to maintain exactly the same name as it was derived like earlier driver2, driver TTO.